Adaaaaaa. You're watching the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and I am your host, Jean-Paul Leek, and this is Rope Break. Guys, Tuesday morning here, your host with the most. Fortunately, it's not the show with the most, but Jean-Paul Leek, and we're here for Monday Night Raw. Like I said, Raw is never the show with the most. It never really delivers. It's 3 hours of usually garbage. There's no way that it can be good, but this Raw at least tried. You know, we saw 3 matches to set up the triple threat in the main event, you know, which will determine the #1 contender. I think you could have drawn this out a little bit, but they, you know, wanted to get it all in one night. And, you know, we got the result that I feel we all wanted, even though we love Keith Lee, you know, and everything else. But, you know, Randy Orton still, as you guys can see from the thumbnail, still the #1 contender. We're going to see him at Night of Champions. So, you know, that's something that we should be looking forward to, I guess, because Randy Orton's been on a run. And, you know, we thought that, you know, maybe things weren't going to go so well losing to Keith Lucius Lee. But, you know, we'll see. So we'll get into the show. But first and foremost, like always, just want to thank all you guys for all the support. Everybody who's leaving comments. We love it. Keep it up. You know, we love the comments. We love the interaction. So thank you guys so very much for all the support that we get. So let's get right into the review. So Raw opened up. Randy Orton comes out. You know, I hear voices. Yeah, okay. You know, change your theme. You know, and my light was a lot better. So he comes out and he's all like, oh, you know, Drew last week wanted to give me a pity rematch, and, you know, I'm worth more than that, you know, so that's why I punt kicked him in the head 3 times and fractured his jaw. You know, he's a loser. He's an asshole. Everybody says that I'm the asshole because they think I'm entitled. He's like, no. I deserve everything I get. And he just keeps going on and on about how he's so legit and everything else. And it's like, okay. You know, heel character, but it's like, you know, okay, whatever. You knew somebody was going to come out and put an end to this bullshit. And of course, it was Keith Lucius Lee. So he comes out and he's like, Randy, listen, you know, Drew and I are friends. And, you know, you're saying all this stuff about him and you're saying how you're so great and you took him down. He's the WWE champ. But remember, who took you down last night? You know, Sunday, me at Payback, Keith Lee, the Limitless one. So he's like, you know, Drew, he's coming back, man. You know, you didn't, you know, break his face or like, you know, what people thought internal bleeding in his skull or whatever bullshit they were trying to sell us. He's like, no, just a fractured jaw. So he'll be back. And when he is, he's always talking about receipts. So he's going to cash in that receipt. And then it's going to be a boom. Keith Lee gets attacked by Dolph Ziggler. And that sets up the first of the matches to qualify for the triple threat. So Keith Lee versus Dolph Ziggler. So, you know, decent opening segment with Randy Orton, Keith Lee. I like the interaction. I could definitely see at some point when Randy Orton becomes champion, because they say that Keith Lee is getting pushed. Vince McMahon is pushing him. You know, you think, oh, the new theme song, the new gear, you know, everything. It's like, oh, Keith Lee's going to be a jobber. No. Vince McMahon, or at least reports have said from Vince McMahon that he wants to push Keith Lee to the moon. So, you know, that's good for Keith Lee. And, you know, that's good for all of us fans of Keith Lee. So, like I said, I could definitely see Keith Lee beating Randy Orton for the belt at some point. So this match, I mean, Dolph Ziggler, you know, he is what he is. He's a hell of a wrestler. He's a bump machine. He can sell for Keith Lee. Everything looks good. And this was a decent match. You know, everybody joked, oh, you know, his first feud is going to be with Keith Lee's first feud is going to be with Dolph Ziggler, because it's like, oh, you know, everybody feuds with Dolph Ziggler coming up from NXT. And I wouldn't count this as a feud. I saw some people making jokes, but, you know, all jokes aside, Ziggler is a hell of a wrestler, but you knew who was going to win this thing. He goes for the zigzag. I think he hits it, and then he goes for the super kick or something. Keith Lee dodges it. Spirit bomb, of course, 1, 2, 3. So he's the winner. And then after that, we see Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. They're backstage. You know, they're the new tag champs, and they're like, oh, we're legit. And, you know, they're being interviewed, and then Nia's like, oh, you know, I'm the tag team champions, and Shayna just holds the other belt. And the only reason we won is because she just followed my lead. And then Shayna's like, no, you know, you Kool-Aid man looking, you know, sorry excuse for a wrestler. The only reason we won is because I used Bailey, you know, or Sasha's arm to make Bailey tap out. I had them both in a submission. It was done. You know, I'm the reason why. So they're kind of just going back and forth. You see the tensions there. It's still building, even though it's more like, it seems so fake. It's not even real tension. I'm like, these are just two friends that are like working, all of us fans trying to act like there's tension when really they're in on it. It doesn't seem real at all. But, Asuka then comes down. She's dancing, and they're like, what the fuck, bitch? This is our segment. You're not supposed to be here. She starts yelling at him in Japanese, and that's pretty much the end of that. So it's like, oh, okay. So then we go to commercial break. And then after commercial break, I thought we were on SmackDown Live because it looked like the same segment. Adam Pearce is yelling at the same, indie wrestler goons. He's like, guys, your security, Retribution, pretty much ransacked this place last Monday. You guys need to step up your game, stop being bullshit. And they're like, okay. So then we get Charlie Caruso. She's interviewing Asuka in the ring. And she's like, is anyone really deserving of, challenging you? Because, pretty much who's left? Raw is like a wasteland of losers, besides her. It's like, you got Bayley and Sasha are legit, but they're on SmackDown. And she's like, oh, I beat Becky, but Becky's not here. She says Charlotte. She says Nia. I think she even said Shayna. I don't remember her beating Shayna, but maybe she did. We just watched so much damn wrestling. I don't know, anything anymore. But she names all these women who she's like, oh, I beat them. I'm better than them. And then we get Mickie James comes out. And I'm like, this is legit because they're finally listening to Jean-Paul Leck on Rope Break. And I said, you got to revisit the NXT match. You bring back Mickie James. She's legit. She's a hell of a wrestler. I would say she can still go, but the bulk of her career is behind her. She might not beat Asuka, but at least give her the rub, give her the title chance. It'll be good for her. So she comes out, pretty much says, hey, I'm a 6-time women's champ. I'm legit. Give me a shot. And they even, bring up the NXT thing, which it was like, okay, that's legit. She's like, hey, remember, we did this in NXT, and, or maybe they said that in the match that this led to, but I know they didn't mention it at some point tonight. But then, of course, we see the boat, the best of all time, because it's like Lana and Natalya, they come out, and Natalya's pretty much like, hey, Mickie, you've had your chances. You were a champion 6 times. You couldn't hold on to the belt. So, get out of here. Let someone else deserve it. And it's like, I hope you don't mean Lana. And if you're talking about yourself, Natalya, you had pretty many title reigns as well. So, why don't you shut the hell up as well? We like Mickie James in this role a lot more than you. I'll always side with the Monday Night MILF. So, this leads to a altercation. Asuka's there. So then it's all 4 of these women. And, I was smelling the tag team match a mile away. They're probably going to do that next week. I was jumping the gun a little bit. I apologize, WWE booking. But, we got just a singles match because Asuka was kind of going at all the women here because she's like crazy. She don't care if you're babyface heel. She'll beat you up. And then it was like, oh, but eventually Asuka and Mickie were kind of like, oh, we're both the faces. Okay, these two are the heels. We know who to beat up. And this led to a match. I believe, we saw a segment first, though. I can't forget this because this is so great with the Viking Raiders. So they're backstage, and, of course, they're with Cedric and Demi, not Lovato, Burnett. Nobody cares. Again, why she's still on this, I'm going to stop asking it because I just get myself all heated and pissed off for no reason. She's here, and I guess we have to deal with it. She makes Lana seem like, an Oscar-winning actress, like as bad as this Demi is. So she's there. She's like, oh, I just want to wish you guys luck, blah, blah, blah. Gives Ivar a kiss. I don't know why she's wishing Ivar luck. I don't think that they had a match, but it was an impromptu match. So, there goes kayfabe and the booking and everything else out of the window. So, and then pretty much, after she kisses him, they all walk away and it's legit. And then you see Garza standing there with a rose looking like a dumbass. And it's like, yeah, you are a dumbass. This whole like Monday Night Raw is just, anyway. So then we move on. We see Lana. She's with Natalya versus Mickie James. So now we get into this dumpster fire of a match. Lana's awful. Mickie James is, she's terrific. She's great. But, so you have one person who's good, one person who's bad. Sometimes that can equal to an okay match, but then you put Asuka on commentary. I love Asuka. She's probably one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. And, but she doesn't know a lick of English. Her English is, as good as my Spanish. So not very good. And you put her on commentary and it's like, so, because they'll ask her a question and she'll be like, okay. And it's like, it's hard for her because she's probably trying to formulate in her head what to say. She's like translating her own response in her head. And when they ask you a question on commentary, it's got to be like boom, boom, boom. You got to get that out there because you have the play-by-play guy calling something different. And then the question they asked you 5 seconds ago is null and void. So having her on commentary didn't really make any sense. But how do you think this thing ended? Mick kick, 1, 2, 3. Mickie James is a winner. Like I said, next week, I could definitely see this being a tag team match between Mickie James and Asuka versus Lana and Natalya. So then we get Charlie Caruso. She's backstage. She's trying to get an interview with Aleister Black. You find out why he, attacked Kevin Owens. But then we see Randy Orton coming out of his, custodial closet or wherever he's hiding. And I never see him hiding in my custodial closet at my job, so I don't know what the hell, Aleister Black, come say hi. But Randy Orton, he comes out. Charlie Caruso's like, huh? And it doesn't take an idiot to figure out that Kevin Owens and Aleister Black are going to have a feud. And Randy Orton's match is against Kevin Owens tonight to qualify for the triple threat. So, put 2 and 2 together, you get 4. So then we see Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They're interviewed backstage because later tonight they will face the Riot Squad to determine the number 1 contender. Another thing that they were listening to Rope Break for and said the Riot Squad should be the number 1 contenders. And then for some reason they want to put a stipulation on this. The loser has to disband. They can't be a tag team anymore. Somebody's getting a singles push. It's not going to be Ruby. It's not going to be Liv. I wonder who they find more stock in, Billie Kay or Peyton Royce. Let's find out. So then, they pretty much said, like, oh, we're not going to lose. We've been friends forever, blah, 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 whatever. We were the tag team champs at WrestleMania, okay, who cares? So then we get Kevin Owens. He's making his way to the ring because now it's time for this match. So then, when he makes his way to the ring, out comes Randy Orton. Boom. Aleister Black comes out. He beats the shit out of him. Black mass, this and that. So Kevin Owens is done. So, you knew how this was going to go. And then, of course, the ref's like, are you good, Kevin? Are you good? He's like, yeah, man, I'm good. It's all legit. RKO done. Randy Orton wins. He moves on. Doesn't even break a sweat. So then and I like that. It's the heel. Some of these things when I don't give my opinion on, if I don't really give my opinion, it means I like it. If I shit on it, that's obvious. So this was good. I liked it. Kevin Owens and Aleister Black, I'm interested in that feud. Randy Orton, you knew he was going to win. Like we said, you knew, if you just see by the thumbnail, you knew he won the triple threat as well. So Randy Orton will join Keith Lee in the triple threat. So now we just got one more match. And that match was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. And they just advertised it, I believe last weekend sometime. It was just a random match. And it was like, okay, but we had the tag team match, is this like a blow-off match? What's this match even for? You would think the tag team match would be the blow-off match. And, this was now to determine to be in this triple threat. So Ray's like, I can't do it. I'm hurt. I think it was his arm, something like not like a bicep, tricep, something like that anyway, with his arm. So he's like, I'm done. But, my loss is my son's gain. Dominic's going to be in this match, and Dominic might qualify, for Night of Champions. He might get his first opportunity at Championship Gold, and, it'll be for the WWE Championship. And he's like, I'm happy for my son. I'm going to support him. This is great for the Mysterio family. And Dominic said after our win last night, my confidence is through the roof. I got a 619 dialed up for the Monday Night Messiah. So he didn't, it was a good line. He's getting a little bit more in his, in his promo. He's not so like, so he's getting a little bit more oomph. So I like that from Dominic. Keep it up, man. We're all big fans of you. So then we see MVP, Shelton Benjamin, they're in the VIP lounge. And, of course, he's like, oh, this is the first VIP lounge in the Thunderdome. So then he, of course, introduces, the new United States champion, Bobby Lashley. So MVP says he knows a lot of young guys, they just want success. They're hungry. They let it go to their head. Apollo's no different. Lashley pretty much dominated him after the match. He was upset. He was jealous. He was pissed. And he attacked him afterwards. And, Lashley's, I would have did the same thing. But, he's just a little punk. And, Apollo Crews is going to go against Shelton Benjamin tonight in Raw Underground. And, we'll make him, we'll teach him his lesson there. So then Cedric Alexander comes out. They meet him on the ramp. And, because there's still this ongoing storyline with MVP trying to recruit Cedric into the Hurt Business. So he's like, you finally come to your senses, you're finally going to join us. And he's like, hell no. So then we see Eric and Ivar. They attack him. And then that leads to an impromptu 6-man tag, which is what I said earlier when Demi was like, good luck. Good luck on what? This match was impromptu. Oh, see? That's how you got to pay attention to stuff, people. Anyway, so we get this match, and I really didn't care for this match. 4 out of the 6 guys. I mean, technically, I love all 6 of these guys. They're all legit wrestlers. But 2 of them are portrayed like freaking goofs. One of them especially. Ivar, I can't stand anymore. Eric is still legit, but he's the one who gets pinned all the time, so how legit can he really be? But Cedric I like, especially in this role, because when you see Apollo and Ricochet, they're still a little goofy, still like little baby face, all the way on the spectrum of baby face. And Cedric is kind of leaning to like, okay, like middle ground. So, I'm getting interested in Cedric. But that was pretty much the story of this thing. It was like, is he going to join? Blah, blah, blah. All guys are going at it. And the end of this thing, MVP, he goes for the ball and kick. Cedric, dodges. They do some roll-ups. Cedric grabs the tights, though, and he, so he cheats, technically, you could say. He holds the tights, and then he gets the win here. So the Hurt Business, they're pissed. They're like, we're going to beat this clown. And MVP's like smiling. He's like, no. Let him enjoy it. He cheated. I respect that. I like that. I would have cheated, too. He's like, let him go. Let him go. So that was cool. You see, like, okay, and this is one of those things. It's like, do we care? And it's like, I do a little bit because at least they're telling the story over the course of how many weeks. So, that I do appreciate. Anytime it's a long-term storytelling that isn't god-awful, I can appreciate it. So then back from commercial break, no, let him go. I respect him. That didn't last too long because after commercial break, they're just beating the shit out of Cedric. So then, of course, Ricochet and Apollo, they run up to make the save, and then the Hurt Business walks off. So then now we get the number 1 contenders match for the women's tag team champions. And this is the Riot Squad versus the IIconics. And this match, the match of Payback on what it was better because this thing was like 3 minutes. Ruby Riot, and I believe it was Billy Kay. Yeah, Billy Kay were in there. Bunch of roll-up attempts. Boom, boom, boom. Ruby Riot gets the last one. 1, 2, 3. And they win. So the IIconics are all like, they're crying in the ring. They're how they ham it up. So they're going crazy. The Riot Squad, they're all excited. And, they're the new number 1 contenders. And like we said, that's the team to do it because a bunch of people love Liv Morgan. A bunch of people love Ruby Riot. They got this great story coming back together. And you can really cause, the reason that they'll beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, if that's what they decide to do, is that you can just, have it be the dissension between the 2 monster heels. Nia says it's all her. Shayna says it's all her. They can get jealous. Let me tag myself in this match. Oh, no, you're bullshit. Fight. Another roll-up, the Riot Squad wins. I could definitely see something like that, but we'll have to wait and see. And that will be at Clash of Champions. And then, like I said, so the IIconics, they're done. And then afterwards, we will see Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio. They'll have their match. And then, but before that, of course, it's getting close to 10 o'clock. So Shane McMahon is like, hey, big man, every week, hey, big man. Hey, big man. Like, do we have to see him where maybe he's trying to lay the card so we get excited because he was like, oh, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir and Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, all these guys will be here tonight. Like, are we supposed to pop for that? It's like, okay, whatever. So now we get into the last qualifying match, I guess you call it, for the triple threat. So Murphy obviously comes down with Rollins, and Rollins stops. He looks at him. He's like, dude, get out of here. You're the reason we lost this match Sunday. I had it won. You had to get pinned. You're, a piece of shit. I don't need you. You always screw this up for me. He's like, get out of here. Leave. So Murphy's all like, so I'm a piece of shit. And he makes his way to the back. And then Dominic runs out and fucking smashes him on the ground and just, hits the ring. I'm like, Murphy looks like an idiot. If I was Dominic and I saw this guy just get his ass chewed out, I would have been like, all right, dude, like, don't worry. I'll kick his ass for you. Like, I know you want to, but you won't. So I'll do it for you. I don't get why they got to like rub shit in the dude's face when he's knocked down. But, hey, hopefully this leads to a Buddy Murphy, turn against Seth Rollins, because I'd pay good money to see these two guys wrestle, because I think that'd be a hell of a match. And I don't want to say this was a hell of a match, but this wasn't bad. Dominic Mysterio, I feel every time we see him wrestle, He's looking more and more comfortable. The delays in between the moves or the spots or like whatever, it's not so noticeable. He's, you know, and he's in there with someone who's fantastic as Seth Rollins. You know, you got to think that like pretty much his first 3 matches, he was in there with guys like Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, you know, and his father. So, you know, you couldn't ask for better people. But this was good. You know, Ray. Dominic has the, you know, those legit arm drags. I like what he does. He does that springboard DDT. You know, that was really good. He did it on Rollins. It's, you know, with his height and his speed, you know, he's really good, really athletic. So I believe that the future is bright for him. And everything Rey Mysterio did, he's always a company guy. Yeah, he left, but, you know, they're going to take really good care of his son, even though it's like, oh, yeah, he's losing. But, you know, hey, everybody's got to lose on the way in. He's still in very prominent roles. So he hits Rollins with the 619. He goes for the frog splash. Rollins, of course, rolls out of the way, which sets up for the stomp. 1, 2, 3. And Seth Rollins is the last man to qualify for the triple threat to determine who will go against, you know, Drew. Can't think of a funny middle name for him. McIntyre at Clash of Champions. So then we get to Raw Underground. We see Titus O'Neil. He's just beating the shit out of some random jobber guy. And then, you know, it's like, oh, who will, you know, go against Titus O'Neil? And the one thing I just want to say quick is I like how Titus O'Neil is here because he's not doing anything on Raw. You know, the guy is jacked. He's huge as hell. And, you know, give him a role. So that's pretty cool. But then Riddick Moss, he steps in. And this is the one thing I didn't like. I know Riddick Moss is like one of the guys they're pushing on Raw Underground. If there's even anybody who can push, it's him and the dick grabber. I forget that guy's name. He's like a Samoan or something. The dude who grabbed that one guy's dick like 2 weeks ago. To me, his name is just Dick Grabber for the rest of his life. But anyway, those are the 2 guys who get pushed or are getting pushed. And Riddick Moss actually beat Titus. So that's where I was kind of like, I don't know if I agree with that, because just like if you're looking at the sheer size of these 2 guys, and I feel like in a legit fight I would take Titus, but hey, you know, I don't know. So moving on from that, and we get the Street Profits. They're backstage. They got a scouting report. You know, it's the same typical like, haha, let's joke. The one thing I did like with the only one that I thought was funny was when they did Andrade, because he's like tranquilo ? He's like, tranquilo. He's supposed to be cool, right? But the dude looks like he's always pissed off. Like he's not cool at all. Like he always looks like there's something up his ass. And I'm like, you know, I agree with that. Andrade, like, dude, relax. Like, aren't you banging Charlotte every night? I mean, you know, hey, I don't know. So, you know, then they go through Garza. Oh, okay. You know, is he rich? He's always wearing tracksuits. What the hell? Zelina, she's a midget. She's too short to ride the roller coasters. You know, who finds this funny? Literally nobody, except me with Andrade. But anyway, so then we see a video. Akira Tozawa, he's trying to pull into the arena. This I actually thought was funny. He's rolling up in this big van. And they're like, who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm Akira Tozawa. I'm the 24/7 champion. And it's me and my ninjas. And it's like the stupidest thing. I don't even know why I popped for it, but I'm like, whatever. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I watched too much wrestling. But anyway, of course, how do you think this ends? R-Truth comes out. Boom, 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 boom. The security guard who wouldn't let him in when he was driving up with his van of ninjas was actually a referee. You know, and R-Truth is like the 39th or 49th or whatever it is, 24/7 champion. And they said, oh, he's the most decorated champion in WWE history or something like that. And it's like, please don't have that be in the record books. So then we see the Tornado Tag Team match. Does anybody care? No. And that's with the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza, Zelina Vega, and Demi Burnett. Oh, now we care because Demi's there. Thank you. So then the bell rings, and of course, you know, they start beating the hell out of each other. And it's a little bit of back and forth. The same, you know, pretty much same thing we saw at, SummerSlam. I don't know why, why are these 2 teams still feuding? Commentary was like, oh, yeah, if they win, maybe they'll earn a number 1, a title match. Dude, they just had one. They shouldn't even be having this match. You know what they should be doing? They should either be having matches against, like, Ever Rise, bullshit teams like that. And, you should maybe have had other tag teams established to challenge the Street Profits. But then again, it doesn't matter anyway, because guess what happens? The baby faces start to make their comeback. Montez Ford does his Ultimate Warrior, like, motherfucker, I'm coming. And then Retribution comes. And they pretty much, that's the end of this thing. So no contest, because they come down, they beat everybody. Zelina and Andrade, they run out of there. And, the heels pretty much retreat. So then we get Adam Pearce. He's backstage yelling at these guys again, like, what the hell? You know, you guys are bullshit. You know, go back to your indie mud shows. We don't want you here. You can't even protect, you know, Monday Night Raw. What's going on? But hey, you know, I would have let Retribution in too. I'd be like, please destroy this 3-hour show so we don't have to sit through it anymore. You know, thank you. So they come in, and of course we go back to Raw Underground. It's Jessamine and Duke. You know, I guess she's an MMA fighter. I've never seen her fight. They say she's in the Four Horsewomen. Her work punches look so awful. I was like, please just beat the shit out of this woman for real so it looks legit, because her work punches look so bad. And then Marina Shafir jumps in, and she has like a friggin' dress on, and it looks like a dress that like a pregnant woman would wear. She has like a fisher hat, like a, you know, like a hat you see some old guy sitting on his fishing boat falling asleep wearing, and the hat is not on her head. It's like in the front, like on her chest, and it's like she's beating the shit out of this girl. And of course the girl doesn't just grab the hat and choke her out with it, because there's no rules in Raw Underground. So I'm like, really? You know, I guess they're trying to portray that she's a badass. She doesn't have to be wearing legit, you know, like combats, like sports gear or regular clothing. She can beat her up in literally anything. But I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is so stupid. So then the IIconics are there, and, you know, they're like, oh, we'll fight you. Yeah, sure, we'll fight you. And then as they go to roll in the ring, Payton just throws in Billy, and then they beat the shit out of Billy Kay. And then Shane McMahon awkwardly puts his arm around Payton, and he's like, yeah, Payton, this is great. And Payton looks so, like, freaked out, like, ugh, like when that, you know, 400-pound slob, you know, puts his arm around Alexa Bliss at the, you know, the fan meet and greet, and he smells like Doritos and Mountain Dew, and she's like, what the fuck? And it's like, smile, Alexa, smile. And she's like, oh, okay. You know, that's what this was like. And it was, I don't care. I don't get it. You know, you split these two up. Like we said, who's going to get the singles push here? Looks like Peyton Royce. But this is literally the awful, most worst way to start it. And I really don't have any hopes for this. But then Charlie Caruso, she interviews Ricochet and Cedric Alexander and Apollo. They're, you know, they're getting ready to go into Raw Underground. She's like, hey, you guys scared? You know, are you guys going to be bullshit? And Apollo's like, maybe the old me would have been scared, but, you know, I'm not. I'm going to stand up for myself. You know, these guys are running amok. We're going to put an end to it. And then, you know, Ricochet's like, hey, man, you know, MVP, he only cares about money, man. P don't care about no friends. P don't care about this, you know, and we don't care about you, Ricochet, because, you know, he literally sounds like he's like going to have a nerve. He sounds so nervous and scared when he talks. I don't get it. Like, weren't you a wrestler all around the world? You know, Prince Puma, weren't you legit, or did you not cut promos as Prince Puma? I don't get it. I don't know why he doesn't have that, like, that conviction. I almost believe Dominic Mysterio more than I believe Ricochet. Like, dude, come on. Like, this Casey Catanzaro, I know she's the ultimate ninja warrior, but did she cut your balls off or something? But anyway. So then, you know, Cedric, you know, he's kind of like, he's like, you know, he's not really saying too much, and that's what I like. You know, they're all like, ooh, yeah, let's get him. And then Cedric's like, you know, like, okay. So they go in there, and of course Apollo Crews and Shelton Benjamin are going at it. And I do like how, even though Apollo was fired up, Shelton's the legit wrestler. You know, you wouldn't want to say he's a shooter, but he could probably stretch Apollo. So they're going in there, and he's, you know, of course, stretching him. But Apollo almost gets the Kirifuda on him, and then they roll to the outside, of course, into the Hurt Business. So then all 6 men start beating the shit out of each other. But then, you know, of course, Apollo and Ricochet, you know, the Hurt Business, they pretty much choke them all out so that they stand tall. And, you know, Shane McMahon's like, whoa, the Hurt Business, man, look at them. You know, they rule, you know, they rule Raw Underground and all this stuff. And it's like, like, I want to try to care about Raw Underground, but they just can't sell me on it yet. So then this actually was kind of funny. Then we see Angel Garza. He's with Demi. They're kind of fast walking. He's like, let's get out of here. This is bullshit. Demi's like, what about your friends? And he's like, screw them. They're fighters. They can take care of themselves. And then I think she actually messed up Retribution's name, which, I mean, I really hope that was on purpose. I hope that wasn't like her just being that stupid, but I wouldn't doubt it. So then he's like, no, they can take care of themselves. It's fine. Let's go. And then he turns the corner and he sees Retribution. They throw some security jabroni, and they're like, you know, storming in the place. And then it cuts back, and he's already hightailed it out of there. She's just standing there like a deer in the headlights. And then as they start walking towards her, she looks, no Garza, so she takes off. So then we get finally to the main event. Here it is, folks. We got Keith Lucius Lee versus Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. And this match wasn't bad. It was only about maybe 8-9 minutes, not even. You know, if you count entrances, and then maybe it was 10-11 minutes. But this match was good. It was good because I like in the beginning, the two heels, they look at each other. Hey, man, we got to take down this big guy. Randy Orton's like, nah, bro, you got it. He rolls out of the ring. Then, Rollins and Lee go at it a little bit. Then Randy gets involved, but Keith Lee dominates the two of them. Then they start working him over. Then when Keith Lee's kind of like beat down, Randy goes after Seth. So it had all the makings and all the like psychology of a match because all three of these guys are legit. You don't got no, guys playing fake wrestlers like, the Street Profits. You don't got bullshit, everybody trying to fuck Demi, like Ivar and Garza. So this was actually three legit guys, going to battle. And, the ending to me was how it should have been. You had Randy Orton was pretty much done. He was out on the outside. Rollins and Keith Lee are going at it. Rollins sets him up, and then, he catches him. Boom, Rollins is like, no, sells the shit out of the spirit bomb. Randy Orton goes in, RKO's Keith Lee, and this was, to me, what was perfect. He RKO's Keith Lee, but he covers Seth Rollins. 1, 2, 3. Is that because Keith Lee might have kicked out of the RKO, but he knew Rollins wasn't kicking out of the spirit bomb because Randy Orton himself didn't kick out of it. So if he's like, this move could put me away, it definitely put this little bitch boy Monday Night Messiah away. So, and also that, helps Keith Lee because he doesn't get pinned. So it protects him. So great main event. I could have watched these guys wrestle 3 times as long. I feel it would have been legit. Of course, it was normal WWE triple threat. Like I said, one guy gets a bump, rolls to the outside, but still the psychology and the match layout was there. So I liked it. And we have a new number 1 contender or old number 1 contender, however you want to kind of look at it, Randy Orton. But that's the story. Rollins, we've seen that. He's not, getting ready for a title opportunity. Keith Lee isn't there yet. Like I said, it needs to be against somebody like Randy Orton. He needs to take it from. Nobody wants to see babyface versus babyface. This is the feud we want to see. And they have an out to put the belt on Orton here at Clash of Champions because Drew's hurt. Even when he comes back in a month from now, he'll still be hurt. So, it's the right choice. And, I'm happy for it. And I think the main event, I wouldn't say it saved the show, but at least if the main event is good, I'm fine with it because at least the last thing we see, leaves a good taste in your mouth. So guys, that was Monday Night Raw. Thank you for watching. And, hopefully you just watched us and didn't watch the 3-hour show. Cause like I said, it wasn't that good. A couple good things here and there. The main event was good, but other than that, like, again, 3 hours is just too long and they don't know how to write. I won't even enjoy the show at 2 hours, but at least I would have an extra hour in my day to do something else. But, guys, thank you so much for watching. And of course, tonight, double dose of Rope Break. We have the Monday Night Raw review, which you're watching right now. Thank you all so much. And then we're going to have NXT review tonight because it's the Super Tuesday. And we're going to have the Super Tuesday for NXT next week as well. I believe they said the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, we're going to have all the usual releases, the AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, SmackDown on Friday. And we might have previews and predictions somewhere in between there. I'm not sure on the schedule for that. But then, of course, we're going to have All Out on Saturday. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on all the social medias. Rope Break on Facebook, the original Rope Break on Instagram, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, and right here, the best podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break right here on YouTube. So, guys, again, thank you so much. Please subscribe, share, comment. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we love the comments, so please keep them coming. And you guys stay safe. Have a nice day, and we'll see you for NXT.